You've never hated me. And
I have. Yeah, I'm like, hey.
And you've sat next to me in meetings in the conference room. I'm not really sleeping, but those are dull.
Yes, you are.
No,
you and what you'll do is you'll put your hand on your face and pretend like you're just like taking it in, and then
like
all of a
I'm
sudden,
thinking deeply.
right, and then all of a sudden you'll just open up your eyes and be like, and look around.
It's the Scott and Alley Not for Air podcast. The rules are gone. The shirt is untucked. Here's Scott and Alley.
I need some help with something while we get started.
Okay.
So first I want to make an observation, and then I need your help with something, and you can tell me if you think that I have a problem. And that's always a fun way to open the podcast. And welcome to the Scott and Alley Not for Air podcast.
The answer is yes.
Yes, I figured as much. So the first thing is, thank God that we are past the Black Friday, Cyber Monday insanity, because I have gotten 725 emails from Sam's Club alone.
Oh, my God.
Just from Sam's Club.
This morning, I was unsubscribing all morning long because part of the problem is I just did a bunch of shopping for Zach. And he's very specific on the links, on the stores, on the sizes, colors, all that. So here I am. Have you ever heard of a company called KUIU or something, or KUIU or something?
I have not.
It was like some hunting jacket. Then all of a sudden, I'm getting emails from Duluth. I've never worn a khaki carpenter pant in my life.
Let me check something really quick while we're doing this here. I haven't cleared out. Now, this is one of my private emails. I'm just curious here. Let me go through and just see. It'll take a second to load in, because this has gotten to the point. I get it.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
Everybody wants a piece of your money, but it's gotten to the point that I'm so pissed off. I'm like, I love you, Sam's, but you can have my membership now because you've pissed me right off with how many emails. It's not even a 15-minute window. Yep. And they're telling me, oh, you forgot your Cyber Monday thing and all this. Hang on, it's loading. That's a bad sign.
I have Etsy, Lane Bryant, Bomar Nutrition, Magic Spoon, Huda Beauty, Earth Fed Muscle, Team Blink. Blink is even...
Oh my God, I got Team Blink. Okay, we have a match. We got a Team Blink because we both have Blink cameras on our house.
I already mentioned Duluth and KUIU or whatever.
Did I mention I have 3 different vets that are sending me information?
Oh yeah, I got one from Agape this morning.
Yeah, let's see here. What is this? The Banyan? I've never signed up for this in my life. I don't even know what this is. 20% off Cyber Monday. Register now. I don't want to.
Do you have merch table?
I don't. No, hold on. Okay. What's this one? This is Strength Through Families. Okay.
Oh, I'm also getting Poshmark. Did you get? No, you probably didn't.
No, I haven't gotten it. Oh, wait. I almost
Dr. Frank's Winery. Okay.
Oh, Fathead. I've gotten a few of those because we want to put those stickers on Gavin's wall.
Wait, like Fathead beer?
No, Fathead. They're the stickers that make it. Oh, God, Old Navy.
I don't understand. What is that? What's
Fathead makes those giant, like Josh Allen. You stick them to the wall. And he wants that and an Optimus Prime. Let's see. I got an Old Navy. Delete. PetSmart. Delete.
Chewy? Did you get a Chewy?
No, don't have a Chewy. Okay. Samsung. I'm not getting...
An
Android.
Here's another one that I got.
Roku. This is the 15th Roku.
I got River Expeditions. I went whitewater rafting once, and now I'm getting Cyber Monday deals on whitewater rafting.
Here's one for you. Cat Nutra. I don't have a cat.
But you did.
Years ago. Ass Cat. Car Shield. No.
No, I don't have that either. What's Car Shield?
I think it's a warranty for your car. Oh, nice.
Wait, you're getting a Cyber Monday deal on your warranty for your car?
Right. Oh, okay, Spectrum. Nope. Sorry. I'm with Empire Access. See you bye. My God.
Wayfair, Target?
Hold on. I'm getting to those. Famous Footwear. That's in there now. See you bye.
Peloton?
Euro, which is my mesh net. Oh, here we go. Best Buy. 1, 2, Lowe's, 3. Oh my God! It just stopped.
Like, quit assaulting me.
Shutterfly. I've never used Shutterfly.
Oh, you haven't?
No, I don't believe in pictures. If I can't remember your face, then it doesn't matter.
Oh my God!
And then Lydia's school pictures. Okay.
Wait, there's a Cyber Monday deal on her school pictures?
Yeah, hurry, 40% off.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That's how they sucker you.
I've gotten 5 emails in 2 days in my regular work email, and now this one, Amazon Prime. I need to update my Prime payment method because apparently they don't want me charging you next year.
Oh, yeah, please don't.
Yeah, so that's good.
We've gone through that a couple times.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's got it. Oh, here we go. Factory Entertainment. These are are the people that make like replicas of Hollywood stuff. Like if you want a Batmobile. Yep. I got their Cyber Monday
40% off for Cyber Monday.
Stop with it all, you know? I mean, and that's just scratching the surface. I guarantee if I come over to my other email here, yep, there's Sam's Club right now, cyber savings with the countdown going. And now that I clicked on it, another one's going to come in.
I'm shocked. I never got one from them yet.
Oh, God. I mean, it's just overkill.
Oh, that's because I put in your email address. That's right.
It's not getting double. Thanks. All right.
What's the thing you need help with?
Now, this apparently happened the other day, and 6059 is teasing me incessantly about this. Have I ever fallen asleep in front of you standing up?
No, but you've fallen asleep in the studio and you've fallen asleep in the conference room in a meeting.
Whoa, come on. That is
in the studio,
real, though.
it's like you're not standing, but you're sitting.
Yeah, I'm resting my eyes during those. Yeah. So apparently the other day I had a plan to go somewhere in the kitchen, and I walked to the other side of the kitchen and I stopped. Now, I knew in my head what had happened. There's always chaos around the house, right? The kids are talking nonstop. They don't end. 6059's trying to show me a video. I can't hear the video, but I'm
talking nonstop.
I'm trying to pay attention. And then, so I got the kids in one ear. I got 6059 telling me something in this ear. I'm trying to decipher all of it at once. And I just stood there with my eyes closed for a minute because now I've forgotten why I strolled to the other side of the kitchen. She now thinks I fell asleep standing up in the kitchen, and she thinks I did it somewhere else in the house.
Oh, you just did it just to decompress?
Yeah, like I was like, why did I come over here? And I was quiet, and I was standing there. And if you're watching this on video, my eyes are closed right now.
I bet you did fall asleep, because sometimes you'll do that in the studio once in a blue, and you'll just like real quietly all of a sudden, and then I'm like, hey.
You've never hated me. And
I have. Yeah, I'm like, hey.
And you've sat next to me in meetings in the conference room. I'm not really sleeping, but those are dull.
Yes, you are.
No.
You and what you'll do is you'll put your hand on your face and pretend like you're just like taking it in, and then
like
all of a
I'm
sudden,
thinking deeply.
right, and then all of a sudden you'll just open up your eyes and be like, and look around.
I come in with some crazy comment. Well, I'm like, well, that sounds like a great idea.
I know exactly when you're sleeping. You definitely have slept in both of those places.
Oh, God.
And I fall asleep everywhere. So believe me.
Are you rubbing off on me?
I told this to an Uber driver the other day, how I was flying.
You told your life story to every Uber driver that'll listen.
No, it's so funny because they tell me like everything. I found out in this ride, that he was going to Sudan, I believe, to go visit his family.
That tracks.
And he was and he was trying to, first it started with a phone call. And he said, do you mind if I take the phone call? And I said, no. So he took the phone call, and then he was like, oh, that was my brother, because I'm trying to go back home for the holidays to visit my family, but the flights are very expensive. And he asked me, how much did you pay for your trip to Nashville? So I told him, and he's like, oh no, for me to go to Sudan is like a couple $1,000s.
Yeah.
So, so he started telling me everything. I don't know how we got into me falling asleep everywhere, but I said I couldn't wait I can't wait to like nap on the plane. And he said it is pretty much 24-hour plane ride to Sudan.
Oh my gosh, that's a long flight. Wow.
I thought that the time that I spent in the airport for Nashville was plenty enough for me.
Yeah, yeah.
I spent from like 1 o'clock until 9 o'clock. Either
9 p.m.?
Mm-hmm. In a plane
in Nashville, or that was the whole travel time?
The whole travel time. Okay. So that was like checking in and then getting from point A to point B, and then it was the layover. But you want to know what I did? I did something different that I normally don't do. I walked around almost my entire layover.
In the airport?
Yes.
Okay.
You
had told us on the show, you were at the Atlanta airport.
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever flown. Maybe I flew into Atlanta, but it was like you land, you don't get off the plane. They pick up more people and you go somewhere. And if I have, it's been years. Yeah. So I've never been around that airport. I've been around the Charlotte airport. I've been around Detroit, New York City, things like that.
Atlanta's huge.
Is it like good shopping? Is it good restaurant? What do you do?
I honestly didn't do a ton of shopping because it's expensive. If you go and get, like, even if you get Kylie Cosmetics, or they have a Sephora and everything inside, but I was not paying those prices for dang sure. So, yeah, you kind of look around. And the food always sucks, by the way.
Well, wait, I was going to ask you, is that one of the airports that Ludacris has a ribs and chicken restaurant? He's
Which
got one on the East Coast and one on the West Coast.
I don't know, because what I ended up getting was, it was like, what's that, boar's head?
Yeah, that's the meat that has gotten everybody infected with the salmonella.
Oh, great. Well, I ended up getting a deli sandwich
You
from
ended up
there.
getting the sick poops.
Yeah, I got a deli sandwich because I was like, everything else, even Chick-fil-A, whenever they make Chick-fil-A at a regular restaurant, say I'm in Cleveland visiting my family, then it tastes like Chick-fil-A. When you have airport food, it does not taste as good. For some reason, it tastes so much worse and costs twice as much.
I wonder if that's your senses being off from being in the flight, because you know how, and we've heard like a lot of people order ginger ale on a flight, and it tastes different at 30,000 feet. I wonder if because you flew and you were in the airport, because I don't know how the hell it could be different. They're the same, whatever Chick-fil-A suppliers have. I mean, I'm wondering if your senses were off because you were already in the air and you were down for a while.
Maybe. I just noticed
I hear scientific study coming.
The food it doesn't even look the same. It looks so haphazard. Everything just feels like super stale. I can't stand eating in an airport, but I was gone all day, so I had to eat in the airport. But even like crumble cookie doesn't taste as good.
I'm really beginning to wonder now if this is something where if you've flown already, like you were in the air, like if I walked in off the street to, say, the Buffalo airport and had a cookie right away, if it would still be normal. But if I had flown from, say, Detroit to Buffalo or wherever, if it throws off your senses. I don't know the answer to that, but I'm applying that to the logic of certain things. Tomato juice, another one. So many people get tomato juice on a flight because it's supposed to be an explosion of flavor compared to on the ground.
Okay. I actually think I could subscribe to this theory for sure. Another one that I would try. So you're a Buffalonian. Anchor, I think it anchors in the Buffalo airport.
Yeah.
I believe it's Anchor.
Anchor bar? Yeah.
Yes, I believe it's Anchor. Then you need to go and eat at that airport, and you need to tell me if that tastes the same as when you go to the Anchor Inn. Is it not Anchor Inn? Anchor Bar.
Yeah.
The actual restaurant. Because
I'd have to try it. I mean, I don't know when I'm flying out of Buffalo again. Although I will tell you, Anchor is not the best wings in Buffalo. I prefer Duff's, but I don't know if they're there.
But you know what the wings taste like. So I want you to go to the airport at some point and then taste that, and then come back to me and let me know. Do you think it tastes worse? Because I do.
Now, that does make sense, though, of why Anchor would be at the Buffalo airport. Anybody coming into town, you can immediately get a chicken wing.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah, that's the same thing. Like anytime Atlanta, like everywhere has sweet tea. There were those certain restaurants that were Atlanta restaurants, and that is a reflection of Atlanta.
Everybody gets a side of grits, whether you want it or not.
Oh my gosh, I love grits so much.
I've never eaten a grit, and I never will.
Okay, so back to the sleeping thing. Anything else with the sleeping thing?
No, I just wanted to know if this is something, because now she's making incessant fun of me for falling asleep all around the house, but yet I'm sitting there going, what did I come here for? I came not to the house. I came to,
Why am I here?
Why am I here? No, I walked specifically there and I stood there for a minute. She asked me, she goes, did you fall asleep? I'm like, no, I'm trying to remember why I am here right now.
Oh my gosh, this has been happening to me so much lately too. I cannot remember. It might even be something so simple. I was going to look up something on social the other day, and I opened up the app and I started scrolling. And then I realized like a half hour later, oh wait, I opened it up.
You're gone at that point.
So I could look up something that I totally didn't even look up. Or I will just randomly forget the most simple thing. I'm like, what was I going to do?
I think there is so much happening around us. And I think this is a societal thing. But there's so much happening around us. It's a societal thing. Maybe I need a nap.
Yeah.
But I think there's so much happening that you just get to a point, you're like, I'm in a mental overload and I just need to stand here for a minute and be like,
I think in your life too, that you definitely, first of all, this is why I can't get through a movie, because once I sit down, I'm done. Like, I'm not somebody that sits very much at home, but when I do, I'm falling asleep. And even yesterday, Zach, I was laying in a position where Zach couldn't see my face. He's like, well, how can I tell if you fall asleep during this show? I'm like, I'll tell you. I don't know. Like, I'm getting tired.
I have a very funny story about falling asleep during something. So,
Oh, God.
this was one of
this
these
naughty?
moments. I erred on the side of caution. So the Bills game, which was on Sunday Night Football against San Francisco, and the plan was I'm watching this thing in bed, and I know I'm not going to get all the way through this football game. We're up at 4 a.m. Okay, Monday morning got up at 4:30, but anyway, up at 4, right? And I knew I wasn't getting through all 4 quarters, but I was determined to make it at least a halftime. I made it through 3 quarters. At that point, I knew the Bills were going to win. I'm like, I can comfortably shut it off and go to sleep.
Yeah.
6059 is laying right next to me. She's already asleep by the time halftime hits, right? And at one point, she didn't know she was sleeping. At one point, she lifts her arm up like this, okay? This part of the arm was blocking the entire TV from where I was laying. I'm like, and I wanted to just go, whoop, and push her arm down, but I'm like, no, this can't last that long. It didn't, but it was one of these moments because she was.
I thought you were going to say a half hour later.
Yeah, right. She was totally asleep, so she had no idea because we do weird stuff when we sleep.
Yes.
And she just raised her arm up for whatever reason and was blocking the TV, not covering her eyes or anything. It was just, crooked like that. And I just so badly wanted to go whoop and just put it back down so I could see more of the game. I did not. Unfortunately, the arm went down, but I was debating for a minute. I'm like, should I just do the tilt down?
Do you think it's weird when people will put their leg up when they sleep? Like they're like, their knees bent.
Oh, but they're up like it's up in the air.
Yes,
like a drawbridge.
Yes, or I've slept in a bed with somebody where their arm totally went straight up.
Oh my God.
Yes, and then like they left it there, but then it came back down eventually. But I'm like, that is the weirdest thing.
It's weird,
isn't that?
I was like, what is happening right now? And of course, because the way we were laying completely blocked the screen.
Yes. Oh my gosh. Now I told you on the last podcast that I would tell you about the story of Zach's brother getting adopted.
Yes.
Because it's such a weird story. It also...
He's the Russian brother.
Yes. It also just shows you how weird the adoption system is. And I don't know if it would happen like this ever again.
And let me tell you, every story is completely different. And from whatever era you were adopted, if you were adopted, and trust me, when your older brother says you were adopted, you are, right, Allie?
Yeah.
So
let me think. So his brother just turned 31, I think.
Yeah.
So what year would he have been born? 90?
No, late 80s. No, yeah, maybe 90.
I think he... Oh.
Okay.
Wow.
Get off the iPhone
so bad.
here. This is terrible.
I know. 1994.
93.
Did you put two? I put 30 years minus
20. Oh, you said 31.
Oh, maybe. Okay. So 93. Let's say he was born around there.
Yep.
Okay. So he would have gotten adopted. Now, I don't know the exact year that he came over. I think when he was 6. So we're still in the 90s, right? Yeah.
Sure, yeah.
So late 90s.
Yep,
okay.
yep.
So that seems a little odd to me.
And he wasn't adopted at this point. He just came over.
No, he was adopted. I'll tell you in a second.
Okay.
So, but what I'm saying is, before you heard the story, it's weird to me that this would have happened in the very late 90s.
All right.
That's what I don't understand. Okay. So he was in an orphanage in Russia with his sister. And he ends up getting adopted by a family. I don't know where they are. I don't know where they currently live. And he came over and all is good with the world. He does have some like flashes of memories of the orphanage, which sounds terrible, to be honest with you.
I looked something up recently and I don't know why. Do you know here in the U.S. we don't have orphanages anymore?
I didn't think so. This is a random little detour. In the Cher memoir that you gave me for my birthday,
yes,
she was also in an orphanage type thing for a very short period of time.
That's why I looked up, are there orphanages still? Thank you.
Did I tell you that?
I think you told me that. But an interesting side piece to this, but not surprised with her life. It's been crazy.
Because when we talked on the phone on my birthday.
You and Cher?
No, when you and I talked on the phone on my birthday, I was in Nashville. You were in the studio. I couldn't remember exactly everything I said because I just woke up and I was like,
maybe it was on the show. I might have been asleep, Allie. I don't
Anyway, so they came over from orphanage and lived with said family. So he was there and everything's fine and dandy with this family. They went to places like Disney and they had a full like scrapbook of everything that they did. One day, Alex, that's Zach's brother's not names, Alex and adopted dad, call him George, Alex and George go to McDonald's and they're playing at the McDonald's Playland. Then one of George's friends was coming to McDonald's as well.
Okay.
So then all of a sudden, George goes to the bathroom and George never comes back.
What?
Said friend was a social worker. So now come to find out that, and this is why this is so messed up, that the deal was, and I don't even know how Alex found this out. I'll have to get back to you on this. But the deal was that they had to adopt the brother and sister together.
I understand that, yeah.
But they only had to keep Alex. They didn't want him. They just wanted her. They wanted a girl. They had to keep Alex for at least a year. That was the stipulation. They kept him for exactly a year and then basically threw him away like trash.
They faked it for a year.
How could they do that? And do you know what? Alex still has a photo album of all the memories that he had in that year.
Wow.
I know.
Okay, I have to know. The sister, she's still with the
family? I assume. So there is something I do have to get an update for you too on something completely different. So then, and this isn't even the part of Zach's parents, because you have to think Zach's parents adopted Alex.
Yeah.
So then he did contact his sister, his biological sister, because Alex recently had a child.
Yeah.
And he wanted to, I don't know, there's just something that he wanted to
it's a
touch
connection.
base.
You'd like, I mean, since he knew his sister, I'm sure he would want to, have that connection in some way.
Yes. And I think that she just basically was like, oh, I'm glad to hear that, you're having a good life or something. I think it was like pretty nonchalant, actually.
Wow.
So here's how Alex got adopted. And so already I'm like, the system is so messed up and that family's so messed up. How could you give
the family more so, but keep going. Yeah.
Right. How could you just give away a child that you've
after a year, you've done Disney, you've done everything else. You know where they came from. I mean, you've established this.
Exactly. Wow. I know. That's insane. So now Zach used to work for, it was kind of like, he worked for a nonprofit.
Yeah.
And this is also something I don't think happens anymore. It was basically like a job fair, but for kids. So.
No, they have those in China.
So he said that there's
Nike has a table right over there.
Well, so
Adidas is over there. I don't even know if Adidas is over there. I have no idea.
Here he is. Alex is at the table and he's got like said photo album and some things that he likes. So he's sitting at a table as if he is like a job fair. And Zach said this was before the era of cell phones were always on you all the time. So Zach had nothing else to do. So he saw Alex sitting there and Zach went up to him and was like, hey man, how's it going? At this point, Alex, I believe, is around the age of 13, maybe 14.
Okay.
And so Alex is like, kind of, and I understand this, like a little bit of an attitude, oh, I don't even know why I'm here. Nobody wants to adopt an older child, blah, blah, blah. So he makes a conversation asking him all these things about his life. And Alex kind of opens up. Well, that was the end of it. The kid fair was over. And Zach goes back and tells his mom about it. And he's like, oh, I met this kid named Alex and blah, blah, blah. And that was all Zach said. A week later, his mom said, remember you were talking about that Alex kid? Yeah. Well, how would I go about adopting him if I wanted to?
Wow.
Yeah. And so Zach was like, well, I mean, I can put you in touch with so-and-so and so-and-so and whatever. So his parents went through the process and they adopted Alex from the kid fair that Zach was working at.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy? And then
from being left at a McDonald's by your first adoptive parents to Hornell.
And do you want to... Right? And do you want to know what?
Leave me in the ballpark.
Right? Oh my gosh. It's so funny because yes, Alex is not like Zach. He doesn't hunt. He's not like an outdoorsy kind of guy in that sense. But they are a lot alike. And I think that they have such a bond because of this. But also, Zach's mom will say this time and time again, which I think is adorable. She's like, I forget that I didn't actually birth Alex.
Well, there's truth to that. I remember, myself having been adopted.
Yeah.
It was, my parents were very open about it at a very, very young age, and probably used the threat, we can give you back. But anyway, but they were very open about it, and the term, we really wanted you. I mean, because it does come to show that if you're adopting a kid, okay, I'm not saying kids that are of biological parents and those parents are together or not together aren't really wanted. That's not what I'm saying. But there is a different want if you're going through the process of doing whatever it takes to get adopted. Interestingly enough, I don't know how similar it is, but I do know something about my adoption. Now, I was adopted 4 days old from a McDonald's. Oh, no, I'm just kidding.
He came with a small fry.
Yeah. No, I was adopted at 4 days old. So this was in the works before I was even born. Now, mind you, I was born in 1971. Things were different.
Yeah.
Records were sealed. It was a Catholic adoption.
You didn't come from an orphanage.
No, it didn't. Or I didn't. But here's the thing. I do know that my parents were set to adopt a girl. And something had happened, and I have to try to remember the detail of this, whether she got adopted by another family and it fell through for my parents, but then the lawyer called and said, oh, wait, we have a boy. So I think, if I remember the story correctly, if I remember how this went, my parents were all set to have adopted this girl, and it was like ready to go, and then it fell through at the last minute, which can happen. I mean, that legitimately can happen. Whether it was another family that was able to kind of skirt in, or whatever the situation was,
or if the mom wanted to keep the baby,
it could have been that too. So okay, the girl no longer available. I mean, unless you went to McDonald's, and the girl no longer available. But then a couple days later, the lawyer called and said, "Well, what about a boy?" Hence, I ended up being so that's how my thing kind of went. And I did tell you that I've told Allie this story before. I'll say for this. So my auntie, who's 91 years old, talked to her the other day still. She's still kicking up in Buffalo.
Wow.
My mom's sister, and my parents obviously are long gone now. But I remember the story that she met my biological uncle for minutes, literally maybe a minute in the hallway of what Sisters Hospital where I was born. But that meeting had to be finished very quickly because they were bringing my biological mother down very quickly, or she was on her way down or whatever. So they had to kind of usher everyone apart to not have that contact and all that.
So it wasn't an open adoption. Okay.
No, it wasn't. Now, the only thing about, and the only thing I know about my adoption was they were curious to know would I be raised Catholic, which I was, and I mean, that, different era and all that. That was part of what, the whole thing for me was. But it's interesting that you had mentioned that Alex had a sister, well, still does have a sister. And then when you had mentioned that, it goes, well, that's interesting because I almost was a girl to my parents. I ended up not being, but
you still have time.
Yeah, well, there's Brave New World. There's plenty of time. But interesting, and they are all different. I mean,
yes.
Whether it's kids in foster homes, whether it's kids, over from Russia.
Yeah, because my cousin, he's adopted 4 children, and I have another adoption question for you that came up just while I was in Nashville. So he's adopted 4 children.
No, as far as I know, your grandfather is not my father.
So he's adopted 4 kids, and they were all straight from the hospital. That one's
as opposed to a McDonald's. I'm sorry.
A McDonald's, yes. I can't remember.
It's such a horrible story if you don't make light of that in some way.
I know,
God.
totally. But they.
How do you tell the girl that? Hey, I'm taking your brother out for a Happy Meal. May not end too happy.
I know
her.
how traumatic for the sister.
Yeah, honestly.
To not have her brother. I mean, she's had her brother her whole life.
Or was she in on it too?
I mean, they were.
Play your cards right, sis. You get to stay.
They were really young. I wish, and I don't know if she would ever answer this. They were really young, and I wonder if she remembers him not coming back. and her feeling like abandoned or something?
I don't. Okay, God. Anyway,
That's
your
so terrible.
question. We got to get off that. That's
yes.
a horrible subject now,
Yes.
thinking about that.
Okay, but my cousin who's adopted the 4 kids, they have a pretty open adoption. So the kids are able to see their parents if they want to.
Okay.
But here's my
Some
question.
do that.
Here's my question to you. This is such a terrible question, but I have to ask you.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever say to your parents, you're not my dad or you're not my mom?
I never did. I was really okay. So I think part of it being 4 days old, they were my parents. I mean, I never knew anything other than Betty and Lee. I mean, I never knew anything like that. So that might be something that someone that has vivid memories before whatever happened that put that kid into the adoption cycle.
Well,
if
no,
you
but
will.
it's weird because with my cousin, all of his kids, they met at the hospital, took him home from the hospital, and just recently, one of them, for some reason,
said that,
and
probably
they
didn't
obviously
like to have the iPad taken away. That little
exactly.
pisser.
They're all very young.
Yeah.
You know, they're between the ages of I think like 5 and 10.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure it was something like that. Oh, you didn't let me have my iPad.
Yeah,
and so
that's
you say
probably
something
that.
mean, and oh my gosh, how gut wrenching is that?
Well, but it also goes to show the range of emotions that happen. So you said he's adopted 4 kids. Now let's play the odds a little bit. The other 3 may never mention that.
You're right. You're right. Totally. Yes. And it's just like, where did you learn that? Or is it just something that you just...
But you said they've been very open.
Right.
Okay.
But where did you learn to say that? I don't know. I think kids are just kids.
I think it was just a spiteful, they were in some sort of a mood and that was that,
right.
you know?
It's the same as like if your kid ever said, I hate you. I mean, I know that they don't mean it, but God, that's gotta hurt, you know?
Oh, yeah. I mean...
I don't think I ever said that because I was too afraid to say that.
Yeah,
No,
right. I can make this
Gail would have
hurt.
slapped the hate right out of my mouth.
What more do you say? But that's the truth. I'm good if you're good.
Yep. Well, you guys have a great one. We'll see you later. Bye.
Well, that was fun. Wasn't that fun? That was fun. Do us a favor, will you? Subscribe. Share the Scott and Alley Not for Air podcast. Touch our buttons. We know you want to.